Busted.
Welcome, ladies and germs, to the inaugural episode of the Chili Con Queso Podcast, where we keep shit spicy and never cheesy. Well, maybe a little bit cheesy. I mean, what fun would it be if we were a bunch of fucking prudes now? This podcast will touch upon comics, movies, and TV, primarily based on comics and pop culture. And every so often, we'll throw in a little bit of video game and tech shit. Well, I hope you enjoy, and now on to our introductions with our hosts, John Blockhead Kegley, Carlos the Pakistani Prince Pineda, and yours truly, that potty mouth motherfucker known as Rolly Gutierrez. Enjoy!
Going on, everybody? I'm John Kegley. I'm a marketing major, 21 years old. Yeah, I've loved comic books and pop culture, movies since I was a little kid. So talking about it has always been interesting to me. But yeah.
Carlos.
Hey, I'm Carlos, 28, photographer, videographer, and sports writer. Didn't get into comic books as a kid, but always loved the animated series, Batman, the Spider-Man, X-Men, even the Batman and Superman adventures. And now I'm starting to get more into the comic books, you know, with the Punisher that we just bought, Rolly and I, when we went to the comic book shop. So definitely getting more into the graphic side of
these pops.
Of the
Keep it going, baby. All right. I'm Rolly Gutierrez. I am the resident degenerate. I forgot my age. I think I'm 33 years old. I work in voice acting, directing, and engineering. I also go to school for graphic design and illustration. Hopefully I'll get my hands in some comic work in the future. Also doing graphic design as well on the side to pay the bills. So let's begin, fellas. Why don't we start off with some random news? We got Greg Berlanti has finally said he's going to be on the Booster Gold movie, directing with Zach Stentz writing. For those who don't know, Zach Stentz recently wrote the last Flash episode directed by Kevin Smith, and he's also got his hands in, did the screenplay for First Class. And he's doing the Power Rangers movie as well, did Thor. So what do you guys think about that shit?
I think it'll be good. I mean, I enjoyed that whole episode with Kevin Smith.
Yeah, that shit was kind of touchy.
Yeah, it was one of the better directed CW episodes, in my opinion. Kevin Smith is extremely talented, especially with stuff that he knows about, like comic book stuff, like The Flash, and like the Green Arrow, Batman. He's all into that shit. So
or like Clerks, that shit was a classic.
Yeah, so it was. So I enjoyed it. I think the writing was great. This can't go any wrong, in my opinion.
Agree 100%. Especially like Flash has gotten rave reviews, but this one episode you've heard more about just because of the direction they took and what Kevin Smith was able to do. Definitely, you know, brought the product up, and then you hear a lot about this one episode, what he did and where the direction of the show is going. So definitely excited about that.
Yeah, and then with Berlanti, man, this guy's got his hands in everything with the CW, DC programming and whatnot. And I don't know, I'm interested to see what he does with the movies, because the TV shows, while they're great, they tend to be a little like
corny,
cheesy, and held back due to for one, the network it's on, CW. And two, they kind of got to hold back because of the whole ratings and whatnot. So I want to see how the movie would go with him at the helm.
Well, you know? the only thing I'm worried about is Greg Berlanti. He wrote Green Lantern. If you didn't know, the film.
Oh shit! See, I didn't know that.
See, like that's like it's like a hit or miss, bro. Because Green Lantern was, in my eyes, I thought the movie was awful. Other than Ryan Reynolds, I thought he was a good Hal Jordan for the most part.
I disagree on that. I don't think he was. I think he's more like a Guy Gardner type, but I digress.
But I mean, I thought he's a good actor. So that's one of the only that and Sinestro. But other than that, I don't like. I didn't like the script. You know what I mean? I can care less for the story, at least that they told. And I don't. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Other than that, I mean, he does write good stuff for the Flash. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of network TV, it's kind of funny. Marvel on the big screen is more kid-friendly, brighter. DC, on the other hand, is darker, right? But then when it comes to television, the CW, because of it being network TV, it can't be as dark as it wants to be, yet Marvel, through Netflix, they're able to, grind it out and get darker, which is kind of funny considering their movies are not like that at all.
That Netflix advantage does help, especially the whole Daredevil. Jessica Jones was literally pushing some serious boundaries. Not to mention you got a fucking porno with her and Luke Cage pretty much every 3 episodes. So, but I digress. Let's keep moving forward, guys. So I don't know if you guys heard the rumor of from Kevin, was it Feige, about Emily Blunt potentially being cast as Captain Marvel.
I mean, I'd be down for that. I mean, she's in her early 30s, so she could probably play this role for a little while.
Yeah, she was pretty good in Sicario. So
yeah, I'm trying to think. Edge of Tomorrow, I've seen parts of, and for the most part, that I heard she was.
Was it the heavy metal bitch or something like that? Is her name?
I don't remember exactly, but she is a really talented actress.
Yeah, everybody was saying, who's the other one? I don't know her first name, Sackhoff, and then Chloe Moretz. But Chloe Moretz is she was good in Kick-Ass 1 and 2, but she's mad young, man. I don't see her.
Emily Blunt she has a track record. You know what I mean? Like that she has the experience to play a big time superhero.
Experience.
And her stock only goes up. I mean,
exactly.
I remember she was in The Devil Wears Prada, as this small character. Now you see her like Sicario. She's getting these bigger roles. And if she gets this role, I mean, it's big because anyone that does Marvel these days, MCU, that's a lot of movie opportunities, a lot of crossovers, and, you become a household name even more than you were before.
Yeah, exactly. Look at Chris Evans. He, in my opinion, I think with Captain America, he blew up more as an actor.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
People recognize him. You know what I mean? Before he was popular with Fantastic Four. And
he did a good job as Human Torch.
Yeah, I thought he was a really good Human Torch, and that actually shows you how good of an actor he is. Because
it's kind of funny because he went from being cocky in Fantastic Four to more grounded and the anti.
He's like a Boy Scout as Captain America.
Exactly. He was a Boy Scout.
It shows you how talented of an actor he is,
which is pretty cool because you got to see two different sides of him, of the strength of his depth where he can go. But also Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man brought him back. There was a point in time with his drug abuse. No one wanted to touch him, and Marvel took a big risk getting him to play
huge.
Tony Stark, and he did it perfectly. And if he doesn't do a fantastic job like he did, the MCU universe is not where it is today, because when he took that role, it exploded, and we fell in love with Tony Stark, with Iron Man, and that really got everything rolling. So that role, that was a perfect casting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel's been pretty good with the casting choices. I haven't really felt any misses from what they've been shooting at. They got some pretty good, they know where they're going, man. They got a good direction and whatnot. They're not they firing blanks in the dark,
Yeah, they have their flaws, but we'll touch on that a little later.
Especially with movies where Guardians of the Galaxy, not many of us knew what to expect. Uh-huh. And you have this cast that knocked it out of the park, that did fantastic, made you want to watch the movie more than one time, and left you, yearning for more because it was such a good movie. It's fantastic, and it all comes down to the perfect casting for an ensemble movie like that.
I agree. And speaking of fantastic, great segue. So they got a rumor now that Fox wants to develop a Fantastic Four sequel after their abysmal first outing. Was it? Well, they did the first two, if I'm not mistaken, with Jessica Alba and all of them.
Yeah, that's all.
Chris Evans.
Yeah, Chris Evans, who. Ironically, now that we're on that as well, Michael B. Jordan, who's Human Torch,
just got cast.
Fantastic Four has just been cast on the Black Panther movie, so it makes you wonder who's going to fill that role. Is he going to be doing both? Are they still going to be doing the sequel? See, the rumors have been saying, I know you guys already know this, that Marvel on the low has picked up that Fantastic Four movie, right? But then again, you see Fox pulling on little threads and whatnot, trying to say otherwise.
Until Fox officially releases a statement about the sequel, I don't know if I'm going to believe it 100% because the movie tanked. I mean,
the crock of shit.
It was awful. I mean, like I said, the first 30 minutes wasn't so bad, and then after that, the movie just is
Yeah, it was
awful.
two different
I
movies.
hated that movie.
I haven't seen Interstellar, but I heard the same thing, that it's two different movies.
I
But
like-
of course, it's probably not as horrible.
No,
as that
I
shit,
like
but-
Interstellar for the most part. I'm sure you would enjoy it too. So
Yeah, I love all that space shit.
Interstellar was just like a mind fuck because of the kind of movie it was. You really
and Christopher Nolan knows how to do that. He
Yeah.
knows how to get inside your head. All his movies are every single movie. The Prestige. I mean, even the Dark Knight movies. I mean, he knows how to get inside your head.
all I gotta say is I'm really glad I didn't watch Green Lantern and I haven't watched Fantastic Four because
Oh, you haven't watched Green Lantern?
I would say watch it. You know, it's not the best, but definitely by far it's leagues
It's not the
beyond
worst. It's not the
Fantastic
worst.
Four.
Fantastic Four is one of the worst superheroes, if not the worst.
I almost went to see it, but then
Movies.
John was like, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't watch it."
I went the night it came out, that Thursday night. I went with my friend Blake, and he
Shout out to Blake Allen.
I remember watching it because all the Rotten Tomatoes reviews were coming out, and I was like, "Why is this movie like? I want to see for myself why it's so bad." And I remember the first 30 minutes. I looked over at him, and I'm like, "Dude, this movie isn't that bad. I don't know why it's getting such bad ratings." And then after, like I said, after like the first
You spoke too
few
soon.
minutes of the movie, I spoke way too soon, and I was like, "Oh my god, this movie's awful."
Now, see, that one I agree with Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I know we've had our discussions before about Batman vs. Superman, which I thought was horrible the first time around, or like too much
going
loosely,
on.
not like loosely, or not tight knit per se. But then when I saw it again a second time, it was a whole nother ball game. You know, it felt more like a comic book itself, and
Yeah, and
I liked it a little better. But you know,
that's like, yeah, when I watched the Batman v Superman for the first time, I was pointing out flaws in the movie the first time. I had all these expectations, you know what I mean? So I wanted it to be the perfect movie. I love Batman, I love Superman, DC Comics is my thing.
you want them to have your baby.
I want them to have my baby. And but yeah, the first time I was pointing out the flaws and all that stuff. And then when I watched it the second time around, I was like, you know what? I watched it literally an hour with you guys right after. I was like, let me enjoy it as I already know what's coming. You know what I mean? Let me enjoy it for what it is. And I enjoyed it a lot more the second time around. And it was better, in my opinion, the second time around. But yeah.
Well, we'll save that for the extended release version when it comes out. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, man. I haven't seen many trailers. I saw some. I did dig the whole Bebop and Rocksteady coming in the mix.
Yeah, they look badass.
But I'm not a fan of Stephen Amell as Casey Jones.
Yeah,
I feel like he's another pretty face to go with this girl.
Exactly, with Megan Fox. Yeah, they could have.
There for the ladies.
They could have done better, in my opinion. And it's funny because I saw a clip on it was like a TV spot, if I'm not mistaken. He sounded more like Green Arrow when he was playing, like the Green Arrow from the comics, when he was playing this guy from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles than he does on that show Arrow. So I thought that was kind of funny. But I mean, they could have got a better actor, but Stephen Amell's cool.
Bad,
he's cool.
Not,
and he's a nerd too.
Yeah.
So,
but just being a nerd shouldn't give you automatic rights to a role, man. You gotta, have the chops as well. And I like Arrow, but I think it's starting to go downhill from here.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, with the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you have to take it with a grain of salt just because they look odd. They don't look like what you're accustomed to seeing when it comes to that franchise. So when you take that into account, the movie wasn't. It was good. It was fun. It had its moments. So I think with the second one, I'm excited to see where they go with this because the first one turned out to be not as bad as I thought it would just by looking at the preview. So.
Yeah, it could have been a whole lot worse, but they did a pretty good job. I mean, that's probably what a mutated turtle would look like, not those little Jim Henson puppets with those.
But you know what? Those guys were cool. They
were cool. They served their purpose in their time.
Because that first movie was dark compared to they had to tone it down in the second one a lot. Yeah. I remember it just being
it was pretty
great representation of what I thought Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would be.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good, man. It was pretty good. All right, fellas, so let's talk Civil War, man. Well, what did we saw it all, 2 times a piece, right?
Yeah, I saw it 2 times.
All right, so just get into that, man. As far as the movie's concerned, obviously it didn't represent, a translation from the comic to the movie, but then again, you don't have all the characters and, you can't really complain with what they did. I know they kind of stuffed Spider-Man in the mix, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they did it brilliantly.
Did a great casting choice there. The inclusion of Ant-Man as well, because his movie alone wasn't enough. We needed more of him. But overall, I think the the movie held its weight, you know, and it did a good job, man. I'm sure. How much did it pull in? Do you know off the top or not? Like average? I know it didn't do as well as it should have. Everybody's saying the whole BVS outcome made a lot of like newcomers not want to watch it because they just put, oh, this is, even if it's two separate entities, they're like, well, this movie is not that great in my eyes, so that one's probably not going to be that good either.
Yeah, and it's the superheroes fighting each other probably like left a bad taste in their mouth. Like the people that didn't like Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
I think for what it made $179 million, which is
so far.
No, I'm just talking about opening weekend, fifth biggest opening for a superhero movie. So
that's crazy.
When you take into account, fifth biggest opening period, not just a superhero movie. When you take that into account, the movie did really well. I don't think you were going to make as much as Avengers. You weren't going to make as much as Ultron, but the fact that it still brought in almost $180 million opening weekend. It was sort of like an Avengers light movie just because of the ensemble cast with Iron Man, with Cap, obviously, Black Widow, Ant-Man, Spider-Man, Black Panther.
Yeah, man, everybody was in there.
But it did really well for that standalone movie, and Marvel's not complaining, so they did really well. And right now, I just looked it up. Worldwide, it has over $800 million. Which,
that's crazy.
When you look at BVS,
was it 865 mil?
Correct.
First week? Or?
No, it's at eight. It's in the upper 8 right now. So
total.
Yeah.
And this movie's already surpassed it in what, 1 week, 2 weeks?
It's on the path to surpassing it.
Okay.
It's crazy. I mean, Marvel has a huge following, though.
Yeah, it's crazy how, I got a little jealous that they released it worldwide before we got it in America.
Yeah, but, Captain America got released worldwide.
But at least there wasn't spoilers dropping left and right, except for that one asshole that put the damn movie on Facebook. I don't know if you noticed or saw that.
No, I never saw that.
Tagged me in it, but I was like, I'm not even going to click this shit.
Nah, I was avoiding it. Yeah, because I had, now that it's been a couple of months since Star Wars has been released, I guess I could talk about it now. But for those of you that haven't seen Star Wars, spoiler alert, we're coming up.
Oh, but I remember mad spoilers in this shit.
Well,
Too bad, so sad.
Well, I had Star Wars spoiled for me on, I forget what website I was on. I posted a picture of Han Solo getting stabbed or getting killed. And
I love the internet full of assholes.
Yeah, it was like,
that doesn't include us.
It was a day before the movie release, so that upset the shit out of me because I grew up loving Star Wars, so I was so happy it's coming back. We're gonna get J.J. Abrams directing it, and I see that. It was pissing me off. Batman v Superman, I actually saw a week before a picture of Superman, spoiler alert, Superman dead, stabbed by Doomsday. Yeah, and that upset me again. So this time I was like, you know what? I'm not going to look at replies. I'm not going to look at anything on the internet that has to do with Civil War. I'm done. If a TV spot of Spider-Man gets released, sure, I'll watch it. But for the most part, I wanted to go into this movie with a fresh mindset. And I'm happy I did because I enjoyed it a shit ton more than I did BVS and Star Wars because I had so much fun with this movie.
Yeah, it was a great movie, man. So tell me what you didn't like about the movie then.
What I didn't like about the movie is, I would say, I wish Baron Zemo had his costume because a concept art. I don't know if you saw it, just recently released. I really wish that they used that in the movie because that would have been great to see for comic book fans. I understand why they didn't. They want to make it more like attractive for the average fan. But that's one of the flaws that I had. One of the flaws I picked up from the movie. A little bit of like, you can tell that there is forced humor. I mean, Robert Downey Jr.
But you know what? It wasn't as bad as Age of Ultron, where at some point, I think when we went to see it together, we were looking at each other like, this is the
whole like language and all that.
These one-liners, these quips were too much. I think it was toned down way more in this one, so it wasn't as bad. But you know what? With Zemo, you don't know if like the next movie, he could be wearing the suit
because they didn't kill him off.
The rumor I heard was they didn't give him the suit because they would have taken away from a lot of the facial expressions of him being so like his depression and motivation to want to like get this revenge because of his wife and child dying.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have got that behind the mask.
And Daniel Bruhl is his last name? I don't know.
Bruhl, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great actor, dude. I mean,
he was sick and inglorious.
I loved him for the most part, so.
I liked his arc. You know, it was deep. It was emotional. It was heavy. Just
it wasn't some random villain
being a casualty of, you know, your collateral damage in a situation where these superheroes are trying to protect the human race, but you know, stuff like that does happen. There is collateral damage. People do die, and we did see it in this movie when the mom of one of the victims, you know, talks to Tony Stark, and then Zemo being another one. So you do get that. Black Panther within the movie. So you do sometimes you don't get that in this genre where this is what happens when, you know, a fight takes place in your city, and this is the damage that is caused. So I like that aspect of it too.
Yeah, I like the split in that little, you know, situation with where you have Zemo, he had his wife and child die, and he went the evil way, and then Black Panther had the delegates and his father die, and he could have gone that way, but then he kind of stopped himself, and then he went back to the good side.
Because he almost did.
He almost did, yeah.
He was at that road, and I think he realized...
I like that a lot. It shows you, like, the difference between a supervillain and a superhero. You know what I mean?
The other thing you got to think about is if it isn't revealed that really wasn't the winner, Bucky, I mean, he could have still gone on that path because he was dead set on avenging his father.
Yeah.
Getting retribution. So until that was given, he was going to try to kill Bucky. So, but I do like that he didn't go that length, and he you know, came back from that path.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool just with Zemo. Like you hear that voicemail, the voice message
that he kept repeating, yeah.
And you don't realize that it's not a call. Like at first you think it's his wife actually talking to him. But then, you know, later on when it's revealed that it's just a voicemail, you're like, oh, no wonder when she said, you know, when she was talking to him, he didn't respond. Because you would have thought, you know, he would have said, I love you, or I'll see you soon. But it was just, you know, the talking, and that was it.
Yeah, it was kind of, it had that emotional, like, you know, he's not this like cold person. He had a heart, or has some sort of heart. And he was just going to take himself out at the end, which he's like, you know, his goal, I guess, was not to continually be this villain. You know, it's just like, let me off myself, and that's it. And speaking of, real quick, now that we mentioned that, we got to talk about Marvel, man, and how they waste such good villains in all their movies. You know, you got Zemo almost killed himself, got locked up. You got Crossbones practically, well, he did blow himself up. He's the reason the delegates died.
Crossbones is in the movie for 5 minutes, I want to say.
Yeah, Red Skull and fucking, was it Avengers 1, right?
Red Skull was in the first Captain America.
Captain America. That was the end of part 1, right? You know, it's just a waste of such good...
They could have made that whole story better with the Red Skull. I mean, for what they were given, and it was good for the most part, but I wish we could see more of Red Skull, because we do know that he's a huge villain in the Marvel universe inside the comic books. So I would love to see him again in the Marvel universe, but I don't think that's going to happen now. But yeah, other villains like Mandarin and
he was a
Ultron.
Waste, man.
Mandarin.
Ben Kingsley's amazing, but it should have been an Asian guy. Should have had the 10 rings, not some farce of
and they were teasing it, I think, in the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah, the 10 rings. The 10 rings.
Yeah, they were teasing Mandarin, so we don't know. Maybe Mandarin does exist.
That in that first movie, they're the ones that held Tony Stark hostage, and
exactly
that was, I thought, the big tipping point that we were getting the Mandarin.
Yeah, that was gonna lead up to in Iron Man 3, because that would have been great. But
maybe he'll come in now after the whole Doctor Strange thing. You never know, but let's see what happens.
Yeah,
and Ultron was sick too, and they just.
Yeah, Ultron's a badass villain, and they made it like he was throwing jokes every 2 seconds, which I understand you want to make these movies a little bit funny here and there, but...
Yeah, his dry humor wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, you know what, I like when Loki does it, but Ultron was whatever to me.
I actually enjoyed James Spader's...
Yeah, I love James Spader, and I think he did a great job voicing.
He's got a menacing voice.
Yeah.
That it really translates well when you don't actually see him in the movie, but you see Ultron, so I enjoyed it.
I just hated when he made the facial, like the little expression.
I just didn't enjoy how Ultron was just destroyed in the end like nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it was computer versus computer with vision. You know?
Even in Guardians of the Galaxy, I love that movie. Like, you know what I mean? I watched it a million times. But what's the main villain's name again? I forget from the top of my head.
You had the
big hammer thing. You know what I'm talking about?
You had, Damn, I forgot his name as well, man. The Kree. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. He's a badass, or he looked badass, like when you would see like concept art and stuff before the movie was released. But
talking about Ronan or
Ronan. And he was did he even have any like? Did he talk at all in the movie? And if he did, it was like 5 lines.
He did. So, again, I think that's one of the weaknesses we're seeing from Marvel sometimes. Outside of Loki, probably is full
Ronan. That was it. Ronan.
Full character development of the villains. I mean, Ronan the Accuser looked like a badass at the beginning, and then
I was excited to see what they could do with
got
him.
Overshadowed by Thanos.
Yeah, and
where he kind of looked like a puppet next to Thanos as the movie progressed. So, like you said, at the beginning he looked pretty badass, and as the movie progressed, you're like, okay, he's not as powerful as we think he is.
No, and then when they killed off Jaimon Hansu's character, what's his name? Korath the Pursuer. Another dope one. At least Nebula survived, which is good. But
I hope they bring her back in the Avengers Affinity Wars, because she has like a grudge against Thanos.
Yeah.
Now,
that's one, and against what's his girl? Damn, I was about to call her Zatanna, bro. I'm trying to fucking mix up the whole DC. Everybody's got these weird ass fucking names.
I'm gonna start mixing up the DC and Marvel universes.
It'd be good to bring her back, man.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the Civil War, man. So we got a taste of Spider-Man, first time made by the MCU, which is a breath of fresh air. I felt like they finally got the guy down like how he is in the comics, and also in the cartoon as well that we grew up watching.
Yep.
I have no complaints with the Amazing Spider-Man version. Just throwing it out there. I did like Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, me too.
So this is just a different interpretation. So it was good, but like I wasn't one of those people that was tired of seeing him being rebooted in that sense. Where the second set of movies to me was good, could have been better. But I am glad we did not get the full introduction of him, Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, we don't need that again. It's like the Batman story. It's like, we don't need it again, bro. We got it. We know
Even though we did kind of did get it again.
They did it, and
flashback kind of.
We've seen it enough where it's like, all right, it's we got it down pat.
Yeah, we understand how he got this way. I mean, I think maybe they should do like a flashback, like in the opening like sequence of the movie, or like the opening credits, like maybe of him getting bit by the spider, because there's gonna be a lot of little kids in the movies. You know what I mean? Like 5-6 years old. They don't really know exactly how Spider-Man does get his power. So just show you for like a split second, like, oh, he was bitten by a radioactive spider, or maybe just mention it. I think is what they should do in Spider-Man Homecoming.
That's crazy to think. A 5-6-year-old's not going to comprehend these kind of movies, just to think like at that age, you're just looking at the colors, the costumes,
you want to see like funny
like,
action.
Nowadays, a lot of the programs and shit, like the kids they're like way more like advanced than, I'm saying we were like not selling us short and whatnot, but they're just so exposed to so much technology and information that they're just going to know that shit. And if not, some kid at school is going to tell them, what I mean?
Yeah.
So one nitpick I had, which, you can get beyond, is just
Tom
the fact
Holland?
how Tony found Peter Parker.
I thought that was a little much.
But
they should have put it. They should have shown you how he, like, say something like, "Oh, I've been keeping a track on a lot of the
he's
heroes."
Got his own Cerebro, or something.
But like he has like, you know what I mean, like droids like all around the world, like trying to find these heroes that are hiding, like Jessica Jones, Daredevil. Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll talk about it more in Spider-Man Homecoming or in the future.
The explanation is kind of when you see Tony Stark show him videos of him flying, through the streets.
It felt like it was written in just to throw Spider-Man.
But again, but if you think about it, though,
would you put him in?
The movie, it was smooth as hell. Like the movie was really serious, and them to add, because I think it was Kevin Feige that probably told him, "Yo, we got Spider-Man's rights back. Introduce him now, so we can get his movie going."
Oh no, that's definitely what had to happen.
Yeah, and that's for the Russo brothers to do that and make it work. That, I mean, props to them, dude. I mean,
the minute that Sony and Marvel agreed to use Spider-Man in the MCU, they're like, he needs to go in this movie any way possible. You need to put him in there.
Well, the good thing is that they give them full creative control as well, because it was gonna worry me if Spider-Man Homecoming was gonna be Sony in control. Even though they're talking about doing a Venom movie still. There
was many rumors that Sony was gonna like write the story and that they were just gonna produce But now Kevin Feige confirmed, no, we're doing the story, we're producing it. It's just Sony is the one that's, you know what I mean, like releasing the movie, and it's going to be under their name and Marvel Studios, but mostly under Sony. But I'm 100% confident now in this movie because Marvel Studios has control over Spider-Man. So that's great to hear.
Let's see what they do after Homecoming, man. And then what about Black Panther? What did you guys think about, in relation? I don't know if you're familiar with the comics or not. If not, just in general, what do you think and how do you feel about his portrayal in the Civil War movie and everything coming up in the future?
Yeah, I started reading the new Black Panther series that just released. I think the second issue.
I bought them both on the toilet yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to read them.
Yeah, I started the first one. I haven't finished yet. I'll probably do that this week. I'm enjoying it. I mean, I didn't know too much about Black Panther before, only from like if I read him like in Civil War because he would show up a little bit, or like in animated cartoons that were like on Netflix, like the Ultimate Avengers. I think he was in that. So I had a good background knowledge of who T'Challa was and who Black Panther was. But yeah, I mean, Chadwick Boseman, he killed it in my opinion. I mean, the accent was amazing. The acting, you could tell that he put emotion into this role, and I loved it.
Yeah, he was. I haven't seen the movie, but I heard great things about 42, where he was Jackie Robinson, and also he did James Brown on Get On Up, but the way that he just flipped it and he just bust out with this, self-made Wakandan accent, which, obviously has that African feel to it. And he's not some like my problem with Scarlet Witch with her little
fake accent,
pseudo-Russian, Eastern European accent.
I love her as an actress, but I hate her
she's
accent.
More eye candy than whatnot. She should have just stuck with the American accent. But, the fact that he was able to nail it and, keep in character, and then he had that little eye twitch thing going on.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Back the violence. I like that, man. He really pulled off the role well.
It was perfect. I think to introduce a character in a movie without an origin, like you got an introduction with his father, with him, with what their country stood for, and then seeing his dad die, him get into character. It was just done well, where you didn't need 10, 15 minutes of a history of what the Black Panther character is. You didn't get that origin story. Maybe we'll get it in the next movie, but just the way he came about in this movie was done flawlessly, and it made you interested in his solo movie.
Oh, for sure.
Which is what you want to do with these characters when you introduce them like that is, I can't wait to see his solo movie now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing a good job with him, man. And then the fact that he channels the power of the Black Panther, which is also some sort of mysticism and magic. It's about damn time that they bring that into Marvel as well.
Yeah.
They were, I guess, I don't know if they were fearful of the whole magic thing, fantasy, like when already you got guys with superpowers, that's in a sense already magical, but because they try to explain that with science, they feel like, we can get away with this for so long, but no, magic's,
it's
you don't want to
slightly
touch
different, but now I think you're at a place where you can introduce this. Obviously, Doctor Strange coming out soon. Which
that should have been my role.
I'm too fat. You're going to get more onto that side. So it's cool that in this movie you do see the magic and the mysticism with Black Panther, and it'll expand now with Doctor Strange coming up. And
then you got when they pull out the Black Panther movie, it's going to have more of that. And then you got this dude. I don't know what's the name of his character that was on Game of Thrones, the one that he's going to be Iron Fist.
I
he's
forget
like
from the
some
top
sort
of my
of
head.
Prince. He's Natalie Dormer's little brother or something
like a squire.
Like that. Yeah. Who, side note, she was also being considered for Captain Marvel as well. She was a badass.
Yeah, but, I'm excited for Iron Fist.
Yeah, Iron Fist looks pretty good, man.
I love Iron Fist in the I think it's the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon where he's like a sidekick kind of team up with him.
Yeah, I've seen him before. That's the one that has what's her name, like the Panther girl. I forgot her name. White Panther or something
all of them,
like that.
Yeah.
It's like a Hispanic.
I think Agent Coulson is like the principal, and Nick Fury's in it. It's a pretty cool show.
That's one thing I like, man. That they keep the dark on one thing and they keep the fun, for the kids for everybody in the MCU. But yeah, it's about damn time, man, that they start touching on magic. And The Doctor Strange movie looks like a serious mind fuck just from the trailers alone. It's like some serious Inception like shit.
Yeah, I was going to compare
it
to Inception. It looks crazy, man. I'm so excited for this movie.
No, and then the villain is played by, what's his name? Mads Mikkelsen, or I don't know how to say it. I don't know his name. The guy that was on Hannibal.
Yeah.
He was the main character on there, and he's a tremendous actor as well. He was... He did a movie called Valhalla Rising, like way back when, and he was pretty gritty and dark in that one. So I'm excited to see what he pulls. I think everything he does is gritty and dark, but just want to see what he pulls off in the Doctor Strange movie. And then there's been rumors flying around as well that there might be a Ghost Rider show coming out to Netflix, Moon Knight. You know, you got the whole damn squad now of magical beings coming.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind to see Ghost Rider again, but like this time done right.
Without Nicolas Cage.
Without Nicolas Cage, please. I mean, I don't know if you can make a TV show with him because that's a lot of CGI, man. I mean, I don't know if a budget for a TV show can afford that.
Yeah, but it's Marvel. It's not.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can give the props. So. Like, I mean, they when it comes to money, they're not worried. So that's the only thing. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe they can do it if they were to release a Netflix TV show. But I mean, Ghost Rider would be awesome to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because we have these different types of characters like Spider-Man and Ghost Rider, Black Panther, Punisher. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we have insane characters. We have cool character. It's just exciting to see all these people.
I just hate when comic companies, DC and Marvel, both related, they're just scared of magic. At least DC went to that route and they busted out with Constantine, which obviously didn't do so well because it was after I forgot what other show was on before, Grimm or something like that. So it was two back-to-back style like magic shows, so it didn't really gain that interest. But I don't know, man. It's about damn time they do it. And Moon Knight would be good too, man.
So
because
Marvel didn't own the rights for Ghost Rider before? It was the Fox or something?
I think Fox, man, it's like Fox owned everything, you know?
But I wonder why they would buy the rights for Ghost Rider. That's kind of random. I mean, he's not like you know what I mean, mainstream like Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four. I mean, he's like one of those heroes that only a select few at the time knew about.
I think they batch sold like just a shitload of stuff, man. It's like, here, take all this, you know, and I think they fucked up huge back in the day selling Spider-Man because that's one of their babies. X-Men at the time was big. X-Men got, I think, more big in the 80s, 90s. But at the time, they could afford to sell them.
Yeah.
You know.
And they needed that money because, I mean, they were going broke, right?
Avengers wasn't that popular at the time. So it's like,
I mean, they made Avengers popular with these movies. I mean, they were gaining steam like with the comics. I knew that the comics were great to read, especially like in the Ultimate series. I think they introduced the Avengers in them. But
and also just what Marvel was able to do, because they they sold off their best properties to have Iron Man, Captain America, Ant-Man, all these second tier characters become their A-listers. That's
it's props to them,
huge
man.
Big on Marvel being able to create these these characters, make them on level with Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman, Superman, and now banking off of these characters, making billion-dollar movies. It's incredible that they were able to do that. Pretty much, they had their back to the wall because your biggest names are elsewhere, and you're like, well, we need to boost up these characters. And now you see when Avengers came out, it was the biggest superhero movie there was at the time.
Yeah, it was a gamble for Marvel when they first started,
of course,
and for Robert Downey. Because they were both gambling on that.
Yeah,
Robert
and he
Downey
didn't know what he was getting into.
And
no
Iron
doubt.
Man.
And this was a time where superhero movies were still kind of like iffy. You know what I mean? Like this can either be a really good or really bad. And
you were
luckily for him,
you were at the time where if Iron Man 1 doesn't attract, it could derail the whole universe.
We probably wouldn't have the cinematic universe as we speak.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't have a lot of TV shows we have now. You'd have people trying we'll wait 10 years and try it again later.
Yeah, exactly.
So it became huge just that Robert fit the bill so well in the movie. John Favreau, amazing job.
Oh, man.
Got everything started.
He's a shit.
Yeah, and I'm glad he's coming back, man.
Yeah, now he's going to be executive producer for Avengers 3.
So obviously, you mentioned earlier in the podcast how the movie version of Civil War was not like the comic book version.
Yeah.
Where, spoiler, Captain America doesn't die. So just your take on that. I know many people were wondering if they were going to kill off Captain at the end of the movie. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I know. Crossbones kills him off in the comics when he turns himself in.
Yeah, he snipes him.
I mean, obviously we lost Crossbones at the beginning, and I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of glad he didn't die, at least not in this movie. You know, if he's going to die, I'd rather him die in like the Infinity War, something huge, because he deserves that much, not dying in some stupid like Accords, disagreement. I just think it would be a small scale, unimportant death if he died like that. And I feel like they're robbing us. We want it to be like a, oh, fuck moment. You know what I'm saying? Not some like, dying on Earth. I want him dying, doing something big, taking out Thanos, So I feel like the fact that they didn't make it so predictable, and it's like, just like the comics, page for page, it keeps us on our toes. And I'm still kind of iffy on Sebastian Stan taking over as Captain America. He's great, but I just like Chris Evans being in charge right now. So
yeah, I read the Civil War comic book. So going into the film, I love Captain America. I mean, if you know me, him and Spider-Man are one of my favorite Marvel heroes. So I was like about to have an anxiety attack towards the end of the movie. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to kill him off. Like they're going to make Iron Man kill him in this final battle. You know what I mean? So I was stressing out, and I'm a little happy that they didn't kill him off, but I kind of wanted to be like heartbroken in a way, because I like when movies and TV shows kill off important characters, because it brings you back to reality.
Except Arrow, Black Canary.
Oh my God, yeah, that was the worst.
But we'll save that for another podcast.
That's another episode. But yeah, I mean, I like when they kill off important characters, because it brings you back to reality, where wow, people do die. People that you care about die, and these characters, I mean, they can't live on forever. So, but we'll see what they do.
I do agree that this wasn't the setting. This wasn't the movie for him to die in. I did read a report that some within Marvel were saying that, maybe they should have had this conflict earlier on in the movie, and at the end have a team up where they defeat the villain and, everything is nice and cheery. But I kind of liked what they did with this movie, where Zemo shows off the video of Tony Stark's parents being killed by Winter Soldier, and Tony Stark going on raw emotion, fighting Winter Soldier, and Cap obviously getting involved because Bucky is his best friend. That ending was perfect for me, because you saw them torn. And in this movie kind of had to end that way, just so that we were left with what's going to happen next.
And I'm glad he was torn about his mother. Because
I noticed that
he didn't like his dad to begin with. So if he would have done the whole you killed my parents instead of just my mom, I would have been like, oh God, here's another mark.
Yeah, I like that they added that little twist, like, oh, he killed my mom. I was like, oh, like that hits you in the heart.
Like he killed my mother.
He didn't give a shit about his dad, which is
he says it too. He's like, my dad loved you, talking to Captain America. Like, my dad loved you more than he loved me. Like, you're his greatest creation. I'm not. So you get that sense.
So you got that extra tension there. As
well.
Exactly. And then Cap obviously is like, he's looking out for his
homeboy,
his best friend Bucky. Yeah. So this guy feels betrayed as well. He just feels betrayed on all angles.
And it's perfect because you saw the tension earlier in the previous movies, but for Iron Man to have a grudge because his father loved Captain America so much ties in so perfectly to their fight at the end. Also,
yeah. I thought it was. I mean, the movie ended great. I like I said, I love the post credit scenes with Black Panther, Spider-Man. The two movies I'm most excited for, Spider-Man and Black Panther, honestly, because of those post credit scenes. I mean, they just get you like a little bit more hyped, and now I can't wait to see those films, man.
Yeah, I was wondering what the hell up with that spider signal thing, but I looked it up the other day, and it was like that's something he would use to like.
It's like the reverse bat signal.
He's coming in, and they would get distracted by him, and then he'd fucking like sideswipe him out of nowhere. But I hope that they don't pull that.
No, I think it was just a tease,
Real quick, the Amazing Spider-Man ride at Universal Studios Islands of Adventure has a scene.
They have it on that.
He does have the
brick
logo,
wall.
and they're like, "Oh no, it's Spider-Man!" So
yeah, they do show that at the ride. So that reminded me of that too.
Pretty cool. All right, fellas. Well, let's wrap it up, man. That's a great first episode of the Chili Con Queso podcast. And for all the listeners out there, the 3 listeners.
Hopefully more.
1.5.
1.5 listeners. That includes that midget out there. No offense to the little people audience. We love y'all. Shout out to my dog, Tyrion Lannister. Well, we'll be back on the next show, whenever that may be, and we'll touch upon more comic book news, movies, TV shows, and all that other nerd shit.
Pop culture, everything.
Pop culture as well, man.
Yeah,
You know,
all that
bases.
geek stuff. I mean, let's keep it going. You know what I mean?
All right, ladies. Well, we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
This is real classic right here. This is just some classic shit. I fuck with this. Yeah, that's what's